or I believe maybe she called the Children's Society, maybe they have a part on this. But after my daughter overdosed with that mental medication of her mother, the mother waited over 2.5 hours before she called 911. She wanted the medication to dissolve in the baby system, and after that, the doctor may not find out that the medication was there, but the safety and the security and the damage that this medication can cause to the baby was not a factor. However, I took this matter when I went, they sent me emergency report from hospital. It's called a Trillium Health Center, it's in Mississauga. They also tried to cover up for this, and they sent me emergency report saying the mother is the one who overdosed, not the baby. Since I know the mother have a history of not complying with medication, I couldn't believe that the mother is the one who overdosed. Therefore, I went to the police and I asked the police report. And the police report shows that my daughter is the one who overdosed with mental medication. So at that time, I just didn't have no other way. I placed an application in a lower court, stating first, was also some document that disappeared from the court file. I asked the police to investigate, they refused. At that point, I sued the court and the insiders. They also deny me access to justice by inventing some new law, telling me I cannot file a document called Notice of Appeal in the middle of trial. They refuse, they deny me that access, which I could by law, but they say under Family Law Rule 24, and I record the conversation with the general manager who denied me this access, and I laid a charge against the court employees and the insiders in the court. And I sued the court and the insiders in the civil court first. And also later on, I took the manager and the other staffs in the criminal court as well. However, when I sue the court and the insiders, it's automatically there is a conflict of interest. My case should not belong in that court. It should be, I was asking for a change in venue. I wanted to go to another court. However, they deny me that chance. At that point, I just keep on filing a second application, and the judge refused to address these issues. My application was about, number one, my daughter, because of her 2 hips dislocation, she was denied access to necessary for life, which is medical attention. They deny her that. She don't get no treatment because I keep receiving from hospital for sick is that every 6 months they take an X-ray and they say we just observing, we're not treating her in any way, no surgery, no nothing. I have those reports and I don't see why they don't treat her. I put this application in court saying my daughter was denied access to the medical attention for her 2 hips dislocation. She was beaten by her mother on the top of her head with some object, and her head was swelled up, and she overdosed with her mother's mental medication. And I have a police report, emergency report, to prove all this, and I also ask a change in venue due to conflict of interest because I sued the court. Those 4 issues the judge refused to address. So I filed a second application, a third application, a 4th application. When after 4 times, when the judge refused to address these issues in court, I end up suing the judge and I'm playing criminal charge against the judge before the Judicial Council for criminal negligence. However, the Judicial Council refused to respond. So I sent them a second one. I filed a second application with the Judicial Council laying this criminal charge against the judge. And her name is Justice Madame Murray, and the Judicial Council deny me to answer. So at that point, I went to the Premier, the highest official of of Ontario. His name is Premier Mr. Dalton McGuinty. I sent him way before this one. I also once, because Children's Society lawyer and workers was lying in court, which is perjury contrary to criminal section of Criminal Code of Canada. I did address the issue to him, and he said he's not going to get involved. And this time the same thing, I laid this criminal charge, and the Judicial Council refused to reply to this decision, and the judge refused to remove herself, even though I told her that I laid the charge against her. There is a conflict of interest between me and her. She refused to remove herself from the case, and also the Judicial Council refused. Well, even Dalton McGuinty, the Premier, he just, either he don't care or is part of this, I don't know which it is, but he told me he's not going to get involved. And he sent me a letter. And after this, I took the matter all the way to Supreme Court of Canada. They dismissed my motion for leave to appeal. So I believe there is no justice in Canada. Even when I took, okay, this is the family case, all the way to there, nothing, I couldn't get no, without charging me was nothing. The baby keep suffering. And the mother, in 2 years period, she was hospitalized for her mental condition 7 different times in 2 years, from 2004 to 2006. But from 2006 to present time, I know she must have been several times in the hospital, and the roommate nobody could live with this lady, because when she don't comply with her medication, she do things that it's not from, she have her own reality. And I knew the roommate wasn't going to last. The roommate left 2 months after they used that 2 months time what the roommate was there. But I know this mother must have been hospitalized several times now. They cannot explain to me how this baby can go make a grocery and go take herself to school at 2 years old, a 1 year old, at 2 years, It's, for me, I don't know what's going on. But at the 2 years old, after her mental medication, or after she overdosed with her mother's mental medication, they completely deny me access to see my daughter. There is no reason. And finally, they made a final decision without me being in court, telling me that I cannot see my baby. If I want to see my daughter, it's going to have to be a fully supervised visitation in a closed door, and I have to hire those people to visit my daughter. But as far as why they have to go to do this, the decision was made without me addressing the court. Everyone should have to have his day in court, but me, I was denied that chance. I believe there is 2 types of justice in Canada, one for the connected, one for us. And one, they do what they please with. There is the law, the legislation, it just don't work. As far as I'm concerned, I can prove that beyond any reasonable doubt. However, I started to see the civil area, and I studied the civil law, and I saw my lawyer who forged my signature, who changed my affidavit, who lied in court. I put this matter before the civil court. I also took it all the way to Supreme Court of Canada. Same result, I lose. And finally, I decided to learn the criminal law, and then the civil law, I took the courts, I took several people there, 5 cases to be exact. Even the daycare center who's operating a parental visitation without license, because people who have a parental visitation business, they do advertise on Attorney General website. And this daycare center was not equipped to do parental visitation, and yet it's a fraudulent business. But if any regular person operate a business without a license, is called fraud, and they will lock him up. and God knows how long they're going to keep him in jail. However, now I finally learned the criminal law, but I don't know how the system works, so I took the attorney that forged my signature first separately, and I took his case to a lower court, to a superior court, court of appeal, all the way to Supreme Court, and then I lost. At that point, I knew now how the system works, so I put 15 people together, means the doctor, lawyers, government officials, and so several, 15 all together, and I put them as organized crime, because under the Canadian law, if 3 people or more commit a felony or inductable offense that is punishable for 5 years or more, then they qualify to be called a criminal organization. Well, in this case, I have 15 of them. I could put more, but I just started with just, the file was getting so huge. So if this 15 goes through, then I can do the judges and the others. However, I did this, I appealed, I put my case in the lower court, then I took it to the superior court, and when I took it to the superior court, they threatened me, they threatened my life. One day I was going to court for the superior court hearing, and some sumo wrestler, kind of huge guy, maybe 400 or 500 pounds, came behind me, grabbed my neck, and told me that to abandon this case or else he can break my neck. I ignored him, and when he let me go, I just went to court. But when I get to court, the Crown and the judge was not happy to see me there. However, they want me to think about it, I guess, and they postponed the hearing for a week. A week later, I called my brother. He lived in Washington, D.C. I asked him to come. He came, and if we are 2 of us, maybe if this guy came, just in case. So the guy didn't show up, but I went to court. And now, when I get to court, I saw the lawyer for the Hospital for Sick Kids, Dr. John Wage. He had a lawyer there. By the way, I forgot, Hospital for Sick Kids also had another, this Children in Society used another doctor from Hospital for Sick Kids, who is not even a doctor. He was a student doing his resident. His name is Hossein Median. And finally, I find out he's a neurologist. However, when I went to serve him, he ran like a rabbit. I couldn't catch up with this guy, and I never served him. However, I served the hospital and Dr. John Wage. But they use a phony doctor, impersonating MD, a Hospital for Sick Kids, to do their dirty work, and his word was used against me in a court of law, saying he said the same thing, that the injury is not from from the dislocation of my daughter 2 hips, is not from injury, but when the doctor pulled her out when she was born from birthing. And that is a lie also, because, like I said, she was born with a cesarean section. Sorry. And well, I finally put these 15 people, including this doctors, and when we get to Superior Court, the judge, the doctor or the lawyer of the doctor got up, and he said he wants to be part of this hearing, and he served me with a document. He served the court with a document, and he asked to be part of this because of his client name being dragged to the man that his client is not a criminal. At that point, I asked the judge how he knew about it, because the court never issued process. The court have